Hello everyone, this is Christian Biotics Non-Interactive, and in this video we are going to pick up where we left off from the last video. So in the last video we created our account, or added the information to our account details page, so we're displaying all of the information related to the account. One of those pieces of information are the deposits. So in this video we'll create the page so that when you click on a deposit, we'll have a display of the information related to that deposit. It'll also be the same page that we go to when we want to create a deposit. Like I said, that's what we will focus on in this video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. As usual, thank you for taking the time to watch the video and for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, I hope that you'll please consider subscribing to the channel. And with that said, let's get started here. So the first thing that we're going to do is inside of the components routing, we have the types where we hold our enum for the routes. So let's add a route. So accounts deposit. We'll go ahead and save that. Now we can go into our routing service and create the route. So it's going to be a child of the details, counts, deposit, new route entry. We have our component as usual. Import to our Webpack thing. Webpack chunk name. Account, well, deposit, so that's good. And of course we haven't created this yet, but we will. So views slash accounts deposit.view. Give it a name. Count, wait, should be plural I guess, but stick with the one we've already got. The parent, let's deposit, no details. Path, we'll make it count deposit. And the routes dot accounts deposits. So now we have the route created. We'll come down into the actual routing service and we'll add it here. So accounts deposit. Perfect. We'll get our error over there because we don't actually have the view component created. We'll fix that here. So let's go in. Like I said, we'll be having in the views some new file. Deposit. In here for now, we'll just put a template. Save that. Of course, our error has gone away now. Let's go to an actual account. So the first account here, we have deposits that we're clicking on. Right now, of course, we just have the console log. So in our account details component here, let's do it in the we have this handle click account deposit. So what we want in here is to say this dot routing service dot navigate to, and we're navigating to routes dot, we want the deposit. And of course the way that we're going to know which one we're talking about is we'll put our query on there. It will add the ID. And of course, we need the deposit.id. Perfect. Guess I need a comma there. Let's go ahead and grab this thing. And we have one when we want to create a deposit. Of course, there's nothing, no deposit exists, so we'll just pass in 0. Let's go ahead and save that. So now if we click on a deposit, we go to the deposits, account deposits page, and now we can do some work. guess we can actually get rid of the rest of this stuff for the moment. All right, so let's create a component here. So what do we want? TypeScript and accounts deposit. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and import, so inject, we'll need that for the routing service. Speak of the devil, so we'll have components slash routing, and we'll bring in the routes, enum, and the routing service itself. And we're going to import a few things from the store while we're at it. So we're going to need the let's see, the account deposit model. We're going to do an action, the action function. We're going to do our usual push route. So if you refresh on this page, we'll automatically have the ability to go back to the details. We're going to use the getter decorator. The one that we're going to want is to be able to get a deposit. We need the type of the getter, and we need our payload for pushing a route. So we'll save that. So now we've got all those. We already talked about it, that what we're going to have, I'll just call it on query. So the query parameter will just have it's an object, we'll just have an ID on it, which is going to be a string. All right, so now we're set to start creating some things here. So let's do, we want our action. One is the push route, so private, read only, push route, we set. Type of action function, and its payload is the push route. We have our getter decorator. The getter is for the deposit, private, read only getter deposit. Type, and let's inject private, read only. Routing service, it'll be injected for us. The type is routing service. Perfect. So we are automatically going to be able to get the, or at least we need the ID for the deposit. We're also going to need the ID for the account so that we can push the right route into this. So let's start by private created. So let's get the ID for the deposit. That's from the routing service, query parameter. The type is an iQuery. And what we're going to want from it is a number. Spell it right. And what we're looking for on it is x.id. The way we get to the number from the string is using the parse int. And we'll say we'll probably need to do more than just bail out. If for some reason we get an ID that's less than or equal to 0, we know equal to 0 because that'll be a new account, but if someone was to type in, should handle that at some point maybe, but who knows. So now that we have the ID, we can get the deposit. So we can use our getter. We have to pass in that ID that we just found. Once we have that, we just say load and deposit. We need to make that load function, so private load, give me a deposit, which is the account deposit model. From there, I can get the account ID, which is the deposit.account ID. And here we say if this.routing service is previous route. So if the previous route is routes.account details. So if that's is previous. So if that's false, then what we want to do is to push route. And in there we'll have this routing service create route. Which route? Well, the one we just talked about, the details. The way that you create it is by having the query parameter be the ID. And I might have made a mistake somewhere there. We'll see. Oh, not C#. Account ID. Made an error. Create. Oh, that was supposed to be in there. So now we've created or pushed this new route onto it. And to make sure everything's working, we'll just console log the deposit for the moment. Let's go and save that. Refresh. So we have our console log statement there, and our little back arrow is showing up here, and we go back to the right account. So that part's all working. I've already installed it here, but start working with some dates and times and all that, so we'll just use moment JS. So we've got that. Let's come back to import a few things here. So import from /components/ we have our detail action buttons. So default details action buttons. We're going to use them, of course. We need to clear them. Oops. Components and details action buttons. So we've got that. Excuse me. So now we're going to deal with the deposit. So of course in our deposit, one of the things that we have is an amount and a date on it of the things that we do not currently have on there. So we have the account ID and the ID taken care of. So let's give us a private amount and a private date. And we'll just start with importing things you're supposed to import. So import from moment. Perfect. So that date is just moment, and we'll just do date.now. And I do want to format, and the format we'll use year dash month day. Just because. Okay, so now on the load, let's go ahead and just get rid of this. And we'll say this dot amount is equal to deposit dot amount, and this dot date is deposit dot date. And what we're about to do, oops. Oh, it's because I need to, let's just grab that to there, and then this is just deposit dot date. Perfect. And what we're about to do, we're going to need a save. So for the moment, save. So the component side of thing, the class side there, let's come up and do some work on our template here. So we have a div. Let's do this. Oop, I guess form was the top. Inputs, and in here we'll have a label. So we'll give us the amount, and we need an input. We'll put the type, so number. And we will also v model number, and that's what we want to bind to is amount. Next we have the date, and oops, as an input, type equals date. Perfect. And that gets model is of course the date. So we're good with the inputs now. Outside of the inputs, we'll go to here. We'll say detail action buttons, and we'll vbind save to be save, self-closing. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. Perfect, perfect. Yes, it's perfect. No, it's not. Why you not give me my date? Date, vmodel is the date. We have a date. The date is getting set. Oh, I'm an idiot. Underscore. What is that? Now everything's working well. So we have our date input and the amount input, and do want to have a tiny bit of styling here. So we need to import a few things. Like I said, this is very specific to a project. Well, at some point in time, probably should have set this up so that it's just these files are imported automatically. I don't have to type them in, but whatever. So on the inputs, all I want is to have a little bit of padding. So I have to include padding, and the padding is top and bottom, nothing. Just a small amount to push it away from the sides. It just created it, so we do have to refresh to make everything start to work. Might be hard to see, but we've got a very small amount of padding around the inputs, and I want the buttons to go all the way to the sides. So they should work. So if I cancel, I go back to the account, and as a matter of fact, if I hit save, I go back to the account. But I'm getting the console log statement saying that we're saving everything right now. I think that was fairly quick, and we've got our account, or at least a sort of skeleton here for our deposit going on, and I think that'll take care of it for this video. Of course, the next video, I think what we'll do is set it up so that we can actually edit these things, so we can save or create a new account, maybe a few other things, we'll find out. But until then, I will talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.